Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, December 7th, 2021, and we're going to get started here with our pre-market analysis on the S&P 500 futures market. Now, just to quickly review yesterday, we talked about it being a pretty ambivalent coming into the open, being that we were right in the middle of the range from the day before, or from 2 days before that, and had kind of a lot of conflicting signals and no real clear answer. So we did get that sell-off off the back end of the trend line. If you guys remember the 60-minute, real quickly here, we drew in this trend line back on Monday. We talked about holding here, and if that was going to happen, we were going to expect a sell-off or at least a pullback, and did get a nice sell-off. And then yesterday, we were back right in the middle of that range. So going into the open, we said this overnight low or right around 45.30, I guess 31.50, that was the actual number. We said if we don't break that, then we have a lot of bullish arguments from there. So that would, give us a clue if we don't come down to break this, that we would come up and at least test the highs from the day before. No guarantee that we would break through them, but at least come up to test them. And sure enough, right out of the open, we basically just started, I think there was a little pullback, and then we just started kind of chugging and got pretty aggressive and looking for some longs. And then towards the end of the day, we got the high and just kind of petered out. That brings us into this morning, and notice that this downward channel that we were watching, we broke out of, and now we've got this really nice push back to the upside. And essentially, we now are potentially going to now start to create now this new channel up going this way. Now we need a little bit more structure because right now it's a pretty extreme curve here, but essentially you kind of have something like this, at least off those highs, this little channel. Like I said, it's really narrow right here. We might need to wait for more structure to have a more accurate kind of outline of the channel. But right now we got that breakout, and that's where we are right now. So let's go ahead and jump to the ultra high time frames and just see what's going on. Our quarterly, we don't have anything new to talk about. Monthly, still holding the bullish signal that we identified a few days ago. So we still have the potential bullish signal from the low. Again, assuming that the monthly does end up closing low at the lows here on RVI, we will still have it. So right now, that's still holding, and the weekly also had the bullish signal down there, and that is also still holding so far. And notice we're almost retraced the entire previous weekly bar, and we're still way above 50% of that previous weekly bar as well, almost right to the high. So looks like we might end up coming up to break the previous weekly high there and go on to continue chugging to the all-time high. And then our daily, remember we've been talking about the turn here, this bounce where we have the monthly and the weekly bullish signal. It's 50% of this specific leg here. So all these things are all pointing to higher right now. From a daily perspective, I do not have any signs of exhaustion on the current push on the current daily candle. Again, that could change. Remember that trading is a fluid situation, always changing tick by tick. But right now, that daily does not have exhaustion. Our 4-hour as well does not really have any exhaustion on this breakout. So right now, we have all those nice bullish signals from the lows here. The only time frame from the 4-hour all the way up to the monthly that's not showing a nice weekly signal is the daily. And like I said, sometimes you have every time frame, but there's one in the middle that's not showing it, and you can kind of ignore that. Right now, I think that's the case we're going to stick with now. The fact that we have basically the 4-hour all the way up to our ultra high time frame showing bullishness from down here. So that's a good case that we could expect to test to the all-time high. Of course, anything's possible, right? So we could get a strong rejection and a major sell-off. That's all also possible. But right now, we are seeing this nice bullish case with no signs of exhaustion on the highs right now from the 4-hour or daily perspective, which tells me we probably have a little bit more to go here. And then on the 60-minute as well, no nice clear bearish divergence from the overnight high. So right now things are looking like we could expect a continuation higher because we don't really have any signs of bearishness, at least from the overnight high. And on the 60-minute, if we go back to the 4-hour really quickly here, we don't really have any type of strong divergences to talk about from the 4-hour perspective from all of yesterday's price action. You could make the argument that the low of yesterday, which again was that low we said we had to hold for the bullish case, we do have a subsequent bar argument where we did push to a higher low compared from this bar to this bar, but we do have a lower low on RVI from that perspective. So for whatever that's worth, we do have that there. But outside of that, nothing really relevant from a divergence perspective. And like I said, no sign of exhaustion, no bearish pattern off the highs there. The 60-minute has a few more signals. So we did get a subsequent bar low, bullish signal from the lows of the day before yesterday. And then yesterday's low, again, that low we said out of the open we had to hold for the bullish case, does have a nice bullish divergence on the 60-minute. That's what we were kind of talking about in the pre-market yesterday, which helped build our bullish case for the morning, or our one of our scenarios, the bullish scenario of holding that low. That would then open up the possibility of breaking the highs and going to the previous daily high. So we got the bullish signal there. Got a little bearish signal off the previous daily high, but then look what happened. We pulled back, very shallow pullback. This was essentially just about maybe 38, right? So just about 38, just under. And then we got a nice bullish divergence here, and then a double divergence when they came back down to test that low. We got another bullish divergence, and that was right at Globex. So if you were watching the market last night, you should have seen this on your chart, and then you'll see on some of the shorter time frames as well, this bullish stuff going on from the Globex lows there. That should have told you should be looking for longs going into the overnight session. Had you have done that, we got a nice almost 100-point push here. I think we were close to, well, it was more than 100 points from the lows of the day from yesterday's low, but just about, let's say, an 80-point push here in the overnight session that you could have basically had a good understanding was going to happen had you been back here and seen these two really nice bullish divergences from the lows. So right now, 60-minute, I was looking at this before I started the recording here, and we did have the potential for a bullish divergence off 46.46 quarter. And at that time, this bar right here hadn't broken below 46.46 quarter. And I was seeing this potential bullish situation here, but it looks like we are breaking 46 quarter now. So basically that's over with. Right now we don't really have a strong bullish divergence there that could have potentially been there if we didn't break below that level. So right now 60-minute, like I said, has the nice bullish case that's following through for right now, and no signs of exhaustion from the overnight high. All right, so things should be fairly clear here this morning. We'll go down to our 30-minute and just see what we're getting here. Again, there was that nice bullish signal from the overnight low from yesterday that gave us the bullish signal, got the follow through. And then here we are in the Globex session, more bullish signals agreeing with the 60-minute. So again, if you were here last night, in fact, that pullback that we got, this little bounce out of the Globex low, push to the high, and this pullback, it bounced at a very key area off a previous resistance, and we had pretty much every time frame from the 60-minute down showing bullishness here. Should have been a pretty clear case had you been looking at the charts at 6 or 7 p.m. last night on the Pacific Coast, that we could potentially come up at least to test the high from that day. And then look at that, a nice 80-point follow through or something like that. And so the 30-minute also did have a potential bullish signal from that what looked like a double bottom a few minutes ago, but they did break below, so we don't have that signal anymore. And the bullish signal from this shallow pullback has essentially been broken now, so it's no longer in play. So I guess this morning, like I said, it should be pretty clear here. We've got the bullish breakout from this downward channel or bearish channel, and we broke out to the upside. We have some decent bullish arguments and some higher time frame bullish arguments from the lows that we made in the market. And so, and we don't have a very strong bearish argument from the overnight high. So this morning, coming in, we're going to want to look for support to buy the market with the expectation that we would push higher here. And then maybe once we get the 60-minute and maybe the 4-hour bearish signal from the highs, we will then get some type of larger correction. Keep in mind, anything's possible. We do have 30-minute and 10-minute bearish signals from the overnight high. So with a 30-minute and 10-minute signal, we could get some follow through here. But like I said, the 60 and the 4-hour and the daily really not showing any signs of exhaustion. So in the grander scheme of things, I would expect that we would continue to at least somewhat kind of do something like this and hold this trend channel maybe somewhere like in here. So we'll see this morning if that does occur. Like I said, I'll be looking for longs on pullbacks, and we'll go ahead and jump down to our short time frames here and go to our member section and see if we can't get some trades coming into the open here. Notice where we're getting a nice little reaction right now, right around our eye level and our 200 moving average. So I'll leave it at that. Have a great rest of your day to all those out there in YouTube land.